Hey there, it's Brittany, and I am back with a tutorial today. We're going to be using the items you see on the screen. If you saw the teaser video for Crimped, the new show that I'm doing with Deb Floros, you would have seen that our first challenge is going to be in the first episode. But the challenge included making a pair of earrings that included pearls, seed beads, no charms, and leather. I handmade some connectors or pendants. They're not charms. I'm going to make two pairs of earrings because I could not decide. So I handmade some Southwesty style. Well, this one's not really Southwesty, but it's turquoise and terracotta or brown. Some fun, really fun components. And so I'm going to take you through making the earrings. And then I actually, once my website is up, I am going to sell these because I can't wear them, but they're so, like, I'm really, really proud of these two pairs of earrings. So they will be up for sale. Hopefully later this month or in February on my website. They're going to be one of a kind each. So I've got my pearls. I got some seed beads. These are technically seed beads, but they're huge. And then these are some peanut beads from Sam's Bead Box. I'm pretty sure I got these from I think I got these from Bargain Bead Box. They're Czech glass. I don't think I can, there we go. They're Czech glass. I got some tiny pearls. The dust in here, I reamed one of these pearls. I used a bead reamer, so I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And then I have some large hole pearls in two different sizes and some copper spacers, ear wire. I have some yellow leather lace and some, I think this is 1.5 millimeter leather that I had it left over from like a JTV project. So we are going to get started. So the first pair of earrings we're going to be making is this. It's going to use this component, and I drilled a hole at the top there. I already obviously cut this out of polymer clay, and I painted it. I used my vintage paints. I'm going to be out of those pretty soon with the amount of hand painting I've been doing. So I think I'm going to start investing in the ultimate paints that they have once I start getting a little bit lower. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. This is a custom color that I mixed, and this is the verdigris color. To start off, I'm going to make some dangles. I'm going to take 3 head pins, these 3 Czech glass beads, and 3 of these smaller pearls. I just had these in my stash. I did not buy anything for this project. I had everything in my stash. Just went kind of shopping in my bead room. So I'm going to make 3 dangles. I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to wire wrap these closed. I'm not going to do simple loops here. Take my pliers and just wrap around as many times as I feel like it. Maybe just like 2 or 3. And then I'll just snip off the excess there. There we go. I'm going to do that 2 more times. I have my 3 dangles. I'm just going to put those aside for now. I have 2 sizes of parawire in antique copper, and for this portion of this earring I am going to be using the 24 gauge. I'm just going to cut a piece off. Doesn't have to be too long. And then I'm going to thread through my lace, or my leather lace is what I call it. I don't really know what it's called. And I am just going to thread through that much. And I'm going to wire wrap that in place. This can be a little frustrating if you're not used to doing something like this, and getting it started is always the hardest part. But by the 3rd time, I'm like, oh, okay, I could do this. So I'm just going to wrap around a few times. And I actually want that a little bit closer to the component, so I'm going to unwrap and then wrap up, or at least move it up. There we go. You can have it snug to the component or whatever you'd like. FYI, I'm thinking about selling some of these unfinished in my new bead store. It's Turquoise.Street Check that out. It's not open yet, and I don't have an ETA on when it will be open, but I was thinking about selling polymer clay components that I've made, and possibly like polymer clay components that I've hand painted, and possibly some blank ones. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. But if I do that, I won't be doing that right away because I'm going to be focusing on my artisan beads first, and other finds that I think would be fun and that I've curated for my shop. So I am just going to cut that off. We're not going to need all this, but you know me, always like to make sure I have enough. And I'm going to do that 2 more times. Okay, that one's super messy, but she's got personality. Not the prettiest, but she's got a good personality. All right, I am going to go ahead and do my third one. Okay, so I have my 3 pieces of leather dangling. I am going to trim these a little bit shorter, and when I was originally making the first earring, I was a little annoyed at how short I cut them, but it was a blessing in disguise because then I came up with the idea to add the dangles, and we'll do that in a minute. I am just going to use my nippers to cut these. I use the other earring as a guide for how short to cut my pieces, so I will do that for each one, and this one actually cut in the wrong direction. All right, and we will cut this one a little bit longer, straight across, and then this one we're cutting on a diagonal going the other direction. So we've got our 3 pieces of leather hanging, and then I am going to take my hole punch, and I'm going to hole punch each section, so both pieces. Front to back. So that punched a nice hole. And the leather's here in the hole punch. And then I'll do that for all 3 sections. I have a hard time saying a project is advanced usually because I feel like if you take it a step at a time, you can pretty much do anything. But this I would say is a more advanced earring just because there's so much going on. Like, you should know how to make it. To make this earring, if you wanted to make it from scratch, you would have to know how to use polymer clay, bake it, what properties, like cut it, texture it, paint it, sand it, and then then you can get started on making your earring. And we're doing a lot once we are finished making the earring. So, and then I need 3 jump rings, some tiny ones. This is a different size gauge, so I need to find my tiny jump ring. And then we'll just open those and put them on the leather, and then put the dangle on the jump ring after we've strung it through both pieces. There's one piece. That wasn't the best jump ring. All right, so we're about halfway finished with the earring. I know you're thinking, like, where are the seed beads, Brittany? We're coming up on them. So we have our 3 little dangles hanging down. This is twisted a little bit, so we're going to try and get it straightened. And then I am going to take my 24 gauge. This was, no, we used 24 gauge here. I'm going to take some more 24 gauge, cut off a piece. And then I am going to wrap it around the middle of my component here. And I'm going to do that like 2.5-ish times, I would say. So it's going to look like there are 3 wraps. So 1, 2, and then the beginning part's going to go, around here. Then I'll just kind of clamp that in the back a little bit. All right, so then we're coming up from the back. I am going to put on our first seed bead. I'm going to put on a peanut, a pearl. I think I want to go, let's go with, this guy here. I'm going to put on a pearl. And then I'm going to reverse that. I'm going to put on another peanut and another seed bead. I think these are 11s, I want to say. They might be 15s. No, they're not 15s. They're definitely 11s. And then I'm going to take that across my component, and I'm going to wrap, my seed bead wanted to go with me. I'm going to wrap 3 times on this side just to match the other side. So 1, maybe I should have done this before I did the wire or the wrapping of the leather. 2 and 3. And if you want, you can do like this in the other direction, because I did the exact same way on the other earring. That could be interesting, but I'm just doing it exactly the same way. And then I'll cut that wire, take my pliers, and I'm just going to squish a little bit so it's flush. All right, so we've adorned it with some seed beads and some peanuts, and like you have 5 beads on the front of this piece, and it's just a really tiny detail, but it's super impactful. Okay, I'm going to take my 22 gauge wire, and before I do that, I have my bead reamer. I'm going to put a paper towel down because this does get kind of dusty, and I don't want that all over my beads and everything. You should do this underwater. I'm not doing that underwater. Sorry. I'm just going to take, this is from Beading, runs on, I think, AA batteries. Yep. And has a tip, and you just put it in your bead. The 22 gauge wire would not fit through this pearl. I love this pearl. Look at I don't know if you can see the iridescence on it, but love these pearls. I've had them for a long time. Got them from a haul, I think, and haven't really had the opportunity to use them, but I really wanted to pull out all the stops on these earrings today. So I'm just gonna go through until I meet the other side. I'll probably do halfway and then come the other way. All right, I'm gonna see if the wire will fit through there. The pearl's a little warm. It's not, I wouldn't say it's hot. You should do this underwater and or wear PPE, like a mask or something. I am doing neither, so do as I say, not as I do. And that fits through perfectly fine. Okay, if I was doing more than one pearl, I would absolutely take more precautionary steps. All right, so next I did drill a hole previously before the video, and because I tried wrapping around one of these and it slid around more than I wanted. So I'm just gonna put my wire through my hole there. And I'm actually going to put the longer end in the front and then bring, you guys have seen me do this a million times, bring that shorter wire around the longer one just a couple times to lock it in place. And we'll cut it. Scooch those together if I can. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to put my beautiful pearl onto that wire. And actually, I want this one doesn't have like any coating on it, so I'm going to put that side down and pick which side I want in the front. I guess it doesn't matter. We'll have it facing that way. Then I'm going to put a peanut on and another seed bead. And then I'm just going to do a wire wrapped loop at the top. And I'll just wire wrap that closed down toward my seed bead there. She's a little wonky, but that's okay, so am I. And I'm going to do one more wrap here. There we go. Tighten that. And then I have an ear wire here. I like this one because it was like it was flat. It looked like it hasn't, I don't know if it's been hammered or just flattened. But I will go ahead and open my ear wire. And put this baby on there. Now, these are not that heavy because the polymer clay, while it has a huge presence, it's super lightweight, super lightweight. So here is the first pair. I think I nailed the challenge. What do you think? And coincidentally, it goes with a certain bead box this month. It was coincidentally, but I think it's also because this is my favorite colors. So here we go. That's definitely an art pair of earrings, I think. They're long. I mean, I guess they could be everyday earrings, but they've got some pretty high-end pearls on there, some beautiful Czech glass, more Czech glass. I think these are even Czech glass seed beads, and then some artisan hand-painted, hand wire wrapped components. So I love these. These are probably my second favorite pair of earrings that I've ever made. And we are going to make my first favorite pair in just one moment. So let me know what you think about these. I love them. And then for the next one, we are going to be again using this 24 gauge wire. I'm going to grab my other component. On this one, I have drilled 3 holes at the bottom. I'm going to take my wire. I'm cutting a little bit longer piece this time. And I'm going to do 3 wraps around the inside of this top part. So I've got one there. The fun thing about this is it's kind of easy to wrap this because I could just come around down and then come up. So there's 2 wraps. And then here's my third. I'm moving those over and I'm tightening. Okay, so here I'm going to pull it up like I'm going to do a 4th wrap, and then I'm going to put on some beads. So I'm actually going to do the exact same amount of beads in the same order that I did on the other earring, but I did do it randomly when I started the first earring. So I'm just going to put a seed bead on, a peanut, a pearl, and a seed bead. Oh, my seed bead went flying. Did that a minute ago as well. And I am just going to make sure all those beads get on the front, and I'm going to slide this back down a little bit towards the left, and I am going to hold those beads in place, come around, and lock it in place by wrapping. So they don't have to be all next to each other. I like how this one's kind of going towards the top a little bit. I am going to hold that in place, and then I am going to put on a peanut and then 2 seed beads here. And I'm going to make sure that this wrap is going closer. Actually, I want this one to move over a little bit closer to the middle, because I will be hooking my jump ring onto this wire. So I'm going to kind of leave a little bit of a gap there, pull it down, come through. Like I said, leave a little bit of a gap there, but not too much. Pull it through. I can kind of loosen it later too if I need to, but I don't want to make it too hard on myself. Then I'm going to put on a pearl, a seed bead, and then a peanut. Pearl, seed bead, peanut. This would be a lot easier if I was just going with random beads, but I really liked how the mate to this one turned out. I'm going to put that coming up here, making sure that this one right here is not too tight. Coming around, locking that in place. And then this one I'm going to do a seed bead, peanut, pearl. Seed bead, peanut, and pearl. And then I'm going to do 3 more wraps on this side. Trying not to tilt it too much, like some of these are tilted to the side, but trying to straighten it out a little bit. And then I'll come through, do 3 wraps on this side. 1. As you can see, like I'm moving this polymer clay around, it's not snapping. That's because it was baked correctly. If your piece snaps, it just means it was either underbaked or maybe not conditioned well enough. I've had pieces snap for no reason when I think I've done it correctly, and it's usually just because it's underbaked. All right, so that's 3 wraps, and then I am just going to snip it in the back, take my pliers and squish. You know that's my favorite thing to say. And then I'm going to snip this guy off. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to snip it off. I was going to try and thread it through the other ones, but that would be really difficult because it's too short. Okay. And we have a beautifully beaded component. If you want to do it all around the whole thing, go for it. Sky's the limit, especially if you're creating your own components. And then I have some pieces of leather that match the color of the clay that I used. And I'm going to take this and push it through one of my holes at the bottom. I'm going to cut that on a diagonal because it's going to make it a little bit easier on me. There we go. pull down, and I am going to knot this in place, and I'm going to do that 3 times. Okay, now I could absolutely leave it just like this because I think that's cool. But no, we're going to elevate it a little bit more and put some pearls and seed beads on the bottom and these spacers. So on the 2 outer sides, I am going to put a small pearl, then a wavy spacer, then one of these larger Czech, I think they're Czech seed beads. Like, what is that? A 2-0 maybe? And then I'm going to mirror that, put on another saucer and then a smaller pearl. I'm going to do that 4 times. I am going to knot these a little differently. So one is going to be shorter than the other. So this one, I'm going to do the knot right about there. And I'm not going to like lock everything in place until I'm really happy with it, because on the first piece, the first earring of the pair, I did loosen the knot a couple times to adjust it. So just make sure once you're ready that you are ready. So I'm just going to kind of leave that a little loose. I will probably put some E6, not E6000, but GS Hypo Cement in these knots once I'm finished, because I'm going to sell these and I want them to last a very long time. All right, so next I'm going to put, I hope somebody will buy them. They might be a little spendy because I put a lot of work into these. And then I'm going to do that same pattern here on the second one. And then this one's going to be a little longer. And then once I've gotten all 6 knotted, 6 strands knotted, I'm going to compare everything to the other earring because I want it to be very similar. I think that's a little too long, but we can adjust it. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Kind of tying them on right now, but I do want these 2 to match and then these 2 to match. Once I get everything strung, that's when I'm going to start adjusting a little bit if I need to. Lots of cool stuff coming up. We're doing a live next week, I think, live sale with Sam's Beatbox. I will be doing some classes with Sam and Rachel. Actually, I think I'll be doing the classes with Rachel. And we're going to be doing some JTV stuff coming up. And then I'm going to be in Tucson for 4 days, 5 days, 4 days. And then I'll probably go back the following weekend just to hang out, because why not? It only happens twice a year. And so tell me, what content do you want to see from Tucson? I will be buying beads to sell in Tucson. They're going to be on my website, not my Facebook group this time, because invoicing is just, that's why I haven't done any newer sales, because invoicing just takes so long and I can't handle it. So let me know if you are interested in beads from Tucson. Let me know what you're looking for, what you want to see from me, artisan bead wise. I am going to be ramping up the online sales this year because it's fun. And I love bringing you guys stuff that maybe you can see somewhere else, but maybe getting it in a different way from me. Tell me, do you like mixes better or straight strands, full strands, I mean? Or are you interested in just whatever new and exciting beads are out there? All right, that one's not short enough. I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. This middle one's going to be different. We're going to start off with these seed beads, then do the wavy spacer. Then I'm going to take these large hole beads. I think I got these in Tucson a couple years ago. And then I'm going to reverse that. So this earring is not super heavy. I mean, it's not the lightest earring ever, but because this is kind of light, it's offsetting how these beads aren't that heavy, right? And leather is not heavy at all. And then these are going to hang, one's going to hang a little bit lower than the other. I'm just kind of securing that, and then I'm going to make sure that it matches the other earring. A little hard to string. There we go. All right, I'm going to match everything to the other earring, and then I'll be back to trim these, to trim the leather. Okay, got everything adjusted. I am just going to cut this about 1/4 of an inch below each knot. I'm going to tap each knot with some GS Hypo Cement later when I find my GS Hypo Cement. Okay, there's this earring. This absolutely could be a pendant. And I would probably end up turning it into one if I hadn't made two. But yeah, these are definitely going in the shop. If you haven't already, subscribe to the emails for Turquoise.Street.com. Head over there and just hit subscribe. It's the only thing on that page, really. And you will be notified when I open the store. Looks like these came from Bargain Bee Bucks too. So I'm going to try and slip this on. In hindsight, I probably would have drilled this earring as well, but the jump ring worked out perfectly. And then I'm just going to slip that on and close that up. Okay, here's the #1 favorite pair of earrings I've ever made. Thank you to this challenge from Crimped, because I don't think I would have come up with these, even though this is my style. I just, without the challenge of using the items that we were challenged to use, that we challenged ourselves to use, I don't think I would have come up with these. So we have the darker turquoise, and then the more aqua with pearls. So same same base components, I would say, but executed differently, even though each one still has 3 pieces of leather trailing. Like, these are definitely different, right? But still in the same, like, I would put them in possibly the same collection. This one kind of reminds me of like little cloud up here, and this is so Southwestern without being outwardly like spurs and boots. But I love it. Let me know what you think. Catch us, check out the Crimped fan page, and check out the Crimped group on Facebook. And if you did the challenge, please, please, please post photos of the earrings that you made for the challenge. You were challenged to use seed beads, pearls, leather, and no charms. So I can't wait to see what Deb did. I have no idea what her earrings look like. We've actually made the same very similar jewelry several times in a row from the same things. So I'm hoping that we didn't make anything that looks similar. I don't know how we could, but stranger things have happened. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I had so much fun with this. Let me know what you think and stay tuned for Goldie. She's super cute. Bye-bye. Goldie's eating tomatoes. Is she really my daughter? I don't believe it. I need a DNA test. Yeah, mommy doesn't eat tomatoes.